What's up, everybody? This is the Stranded Baptist coming at you from Reykjavik, Iceland. I want to tell you a little bit about the plans for this platform for the coming year. I have been doing something on and off through last year. Last year has been a bit chaotic. We've been going through cancer therapy with chemotherapy with our oldest son, and that's over with now, and dealing with some other health issues. But this year is going to be exciting for me. I've been thinking about what I want to do with the Stranded Baptist platform, and I would like to share it with you today. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, then please keep on listening. All right, so I've been thinking. I know I have a media background, and if you haven't know, I'm not really an educated formally in theology or anything like that. I like to read books. I came to faith listening to lectures on theology from Reformed Theological Seminary for free online while I was working at a grocery store. But my background is in film, and I've been using the education that I had in film, which came in very handy for church planting in many different ways. But one of the things I'm thinking about is I want to start producing solid Christian content, Bible-based content, and getting it out online, not only to reach people just elsewhere in the world, but also because in our church, God has blessed us with a lot of people from a lot of different countries come into our church services. So a good portion of our people are English-speaking people. We've got people from Ghana and South Africa and Poland and Ireland and Canada and the U.S. and Germany, and other countries, Lithuania, and I could keep on going. It's kind of weird because we're still a pretty small church, but we've been blessed with a lot of people from a lot of different countries. And one of the things I was wanting to do for a while is to produce good content, Bible-based content, and get it out there. And I've been thinking what I want to do with the Stranded Baptist. I don't want to just do one-off episodes every time I feel like it. I want to be consistent, and I think I'm kind of getting around to formulating a plan of what I want to do with the Stranded Baptist. What I want to do with it is release 2 episodes a week. And that's one of them is going to be just the English sermon that I do on Sundays. And so I'm going to be uploading that on Sunday nights at the latest and Mondays. And then I want to do an episode dedicated to answering questions about faith, questions raised by people who send in messages and so on and so forth, or just questions that I've heard because one of the things that I'm thinking about is I see a lot of stuff online. One of the things that affected my faith a lot as a kid, now granted I didn't understand the gospel, I didn't have a good understanding of my faith at all, was videos online, YouTube videos and so on and so forth. And I wanted to start producing content to get it out there where we're tackling the questions that are being raised, because one of the things that I realized after I started reading books is that a lot of the questions that I've been thinking about have been questions that are not new questions. They're very old questions, and the answers to them, the solid answers to them, have been around for a while. Now, one of the things that we've been doing here is that through our church, on the church YouTube page, Lofstofan Baptistakirkja, and the Facebook page and the podcast, we've been doing an episode called Apologia, where we take a question and we deal with it and we give an answer biblically. And for the past few months, I've been sort of stacking up episodes that I've been doing, laying them out, and so on and so forth, getting a little ahead of schedule. And so starting this year, I want to start releasing 1 episode a week where we deal with a specific question dealing with the faith. And if you want to know stuff about Iceland, is this something in my beard right here? Anyways, if you want to know stuff about Iceland, you're welcome to send in those questions. thestrandedbaptist@gmail.com is the email for this episode. You can also go to Facebook, go to our Facebook group, the Stranded Baptist Community. We've got 2 people in there. It's just because I just created the group. And possibly every once in a while, every few weeks or so, I want to do a bonus episode, because this upcoming year, one of the things that I love about the new year is I love New Year's resolutions. I think it's an amazing opportunity to better yourself. Now, granted, I've often failed in my New Year's resolutions by like January 17th, but for some reason, I love the idea of a new start, a new year beginning, and at least the opportunity to get to better yourself. Now, one of the things that I put as my goal for this upcoming year, 2019, was to just become more spiritually disciplined in my walk with Christ. And so to do that, I wanted that to be the goal for the whole year, but how I accomplish that goal is going to be different from month to month. And I'm going to set sort of a 12, 30-day challenges where I try to remove something from my life and add something to my life to just kind of troubleshoot. Now, I used to tinker with computers a lot when I was younger. I played a lot of video games. One of the things that you would have to do if you were trying to figure out what was wrong with your computer, let's say it didn't turn on. First of all, you would take, the power cord and you would try to stick it into another computer and see if that turned on. And that way you knew the power cord was working. So then you went to the power box in the computer and so on and so forth. And you worked your way up. You took out this one part and you said, is this the one that's not working right now? And if so, then you could find out what the problem was. Well, I want to become more spiritually disciplined. I want to take out stuff out of my life just to see, like, what effect does this have on me? If I take this stuff out of my life and I add this stuff into my life, then how does my life change, and how does my walk with Christ change? How is that affected? Is it better for me to just let go of these things and so on and so forth? So I'm going to do 12 30-day challenges for next year. I want to do sort of every once in a while update videos on what the challenges did for me, what kind of new perspective they brought to me. And my goal is really to develop sort of a life-giving liturgy and rhythms for my life. I want to be more sustainable in the way that I seek to serve God faithfully here in Iceland. I want to open my eyes to the addictive and destructive behaviors that I have. I want to grow spiritually and in love and enjoyment of God. And I want to grow in self-control and discipline. I want to help others, and I want to see the effects of our challenges on our overall joy and enjoyment of God. That's my goal with these challenges. One of the things that I'm keeping in mind is a great book. I think it's called Spiritual Disciplines for the Christian Life, written by Donald Whitney. I think his last name is Whitney. I think it's Donald Whitney. It's a great book. I recommend it. Now, the spiritual disciplines that he lists are like Bible intake, prayer, worship, evangelism, serving, stewardship, fasting, silence and solitude, journaling, and learning. And I want to start taking these themes and see how I can use every month to try to grow in at least one of these themes. And so right now, some of them are going to be just kind of spiritually, for my betterment. Some of them are going to be working on my physical well-being. So right now in January of 2019, the first challenge is going to be social media, TV, Netflix, YouTube, podcast, and audiobook fasting. I'm not gonna go on any social media except for Facebook Messenger. I'm gonna have that because a lot of my work is somehow connected to that, and it kind of just works like a text message, really. But I'm not gonna be on Facebook. I'm not gonna be on Instagram. I'm not gonna be watching TV, which is gonna be easy. We don't really have a TV in our house. I'm not gonna watch Netflix. That's harder. I'm not gonna watch YouTube. That's harder too. And I'm not going to listen to podcasts or audiobooks. That's going to be interesting. And one of the things so those are the things I want to take out for January of 2019. But what I want to add to it is focus on one of the spiritual disciplines that Donald Whitney talks about, which is silence and solitude. I want to learn better just to sit in my car and drive to work with nothing going on, just thinking about life, just praying, asking God to work in the members of our church, work in me. Because one of the things that I've noticed in my life is that I'm obsessed with learning more stuff. Now, I want to take every opportunity to listen to an audiobook or a podcast or watch a documentary where I learn something. And I just want to take all of that out of my life, because I literally right now, if I take out the trash, and it takes 2 minutes to take out the trash, I'll put in my headphones to listen to 2 minutes worth of podcasts just so I'm not wasting any time. Now, I think that is not a great idea, because we never stop and we're never just in silence and just pray. And so I want to take that out of my life entirely, all of social media, all of media consumption, and I want to focus on growing in silence and solitude. Now, if you want to join me on this, if you want to post what you are experiencing, then you can go and join our Facebook group, the Stranded Baptist Community. You can post the results there, obviously after January, or if you're going to join us in this, then you can join and say, hey, I'm going to join you in the January challenge. And I want to, I would love if we had a few people, 10 people that wanted to do this. If you wanted to post your results after January, like, how did this change your perspective on life? How did your thinking pattern change? How did did this affect you as a student, or as a worker, an employee, or as a parent, or as a child? I would love to hear how this affects our spiritual health. And the purpose of this is to maybe open my eyes to realize my dependence on technology and the extra time that I have in my day. Because some of the 12 challenges that are going to follow this one are going to be sometimes time consuming. And I want to show myself that in reality, I do have time in my day to do something constructive. I do have time in my day to grow spiritually. Like, for instance, one of the challenges for February is going to be reading for at least 1 hour a day. And for me right now, I could probably see myself thinking 1 hour a day is going to be quite, and I'm not counting my job. Like, sometimes I read at work because I'm preparing for a sermon. I want to read on my own time, 1 hour a day. And right now it's pretty easy for me to say, I don't think I have enough time in my day to do that. But I think this January fast of social media and any media consumption is going to show me I really do have extra time in my life. Like, we sometimes, like, if you don't have kids, you don't really realize how much extra time you have. It happens every time we add a child to our family. It's like we had our firstborn son, and we were like, wow, what did I do with all my free time? Then we have our second child. It's like, wow, we had so much freedom when we just had one kid. You had a third child, and the story just keeps on going. So if you want to join me on this, please join the Facebook group. I just wanted to let you know, I'm not going to start doing a weekly podcast right now. I will keep uploading the English sermons to the Stranded Baptist YouTube page and Facebook page and the podcast. But I'm going to start doing the weekly apologetics episodes, I guess. But it's not just apologetics as in defending the faith from atheists and so on and so forth, but also a discussion of theology. And if there are any questions or something happening in Eichstätt, I want to dive into that. Now, what I want to keep my eyes open in January about, what I want to notice, is my sense of being in the moment, my sense of addiction to my phone or computer, my extra time in my day, like I said, my spiritual health, my enjoyment of life, the stress levels, how it affects my stress levels. If I just take all this extra stuff out of my life and try to live in the moment and pray more and so on and so forth. As I ride in my car, I may not be listening to a podcast or an audiobook anymore, but what if I just spend that time to pray to God? How will that affect my spiritual health? Because I'm driving, 15, 20 minutes to work and 15, 20 minutes back home. And right there, you got 30 to 40 minutes of prayer time. And how will that affect me? How will that affect when I go into my daily life and just my enjoyment of God? So I'm really excited about taking all this stuff out. And I'm really, it's going to be tough. I've done this before, but it's been like a week max where I've done this, taking it out for 7 days. And it has allowed me to be more in the moment, to be more there for my kids. And I've noticed that. Now I'm excited to see what's going to happen when I do this for a month. and what my takeaway is going to be. Will I go back on social media like I've been, so on and so forth? Now, I'm excited. I hope you're excited for this coming year. But if you want to follow the Stranded Baptist program, if you want to help out the Stranded Baptist program, then you can, like, if you're watching this on YouTube, like the video. If you have a question, you can join our Facebook community, the Stranded Baptist community on Facebook, that group. And if you want to get the word out there, you can share these videos. You can also just rate like the podcast on iTunes and so on and so forth, so more people can see it. And you can like our videos on Facebook if you want more people to see it on Facebook. That's how sort of the algorithm works. The more people like something, the more people see that. So if you want to help out, you can do that in those ways. God bless you guys. If you want to know anything about us, you can check out the little documentary, a very low budget documentary we made, which kind of turned out okay. It's called Christian by Default. You can find that on YouTube. But you can also check out the Iceland Project. theicelandproject.org is the website for that. If you want to become a monthly donor to the Iceland Project, what we're dedicated to do is to plant churches here in the country of Iceland. So if you want to check that out, go to our website, theicelandproject.org. God bless you guys, and I'll see you in the new year.